Have you ever wondered why you procrastinate, even when you know you shouldn't? Or why you can't get that one song out of your head? What makes you, you? These aren't just random questions. They are the very essence of psychology. The human mind is the most complex machine in the known universe. A universe of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors all packed inside our heads. For centuries, we've been on a quest to understand it, to decode our own operating system. This journey is the story of psychology. Welcome to our exploration of the science of mind and behavior. Psychology isn't just about reading people or analyzing dreams, though that's part of the fun. It's a vast and fascinating field that touches every aspect of our lives, from how we learn and remember to how we fall in love and form societies. It's the science that asks the biggest questions about our own existence. So, stick around as we peel back the layers of the human mind, from its earliest philosophical roots to the cutting-edge neuroscience of today. To truly understand psychology, we have to travel back in time. Long before labs and brain scans, ancient philosophers like Plato and Aristotle were pondering the nature of the mind, consciousness, and knowledge. They debated whether our abilities are innate or learned through experience. The classic nature versus nurture debate that still echoes in psychology today. But while philosophy provided the questions, it was science that offered a method to find the answers. The birth of modern psychology as a scientific discipline can be pinpointed to a specific moment in 1879, in Leipzig, Germany. This is where Wilhelm Wundt opened the very first psychology laboratory. Wundt was interested in the building blocks of consciousness. He used a method called introspection, where trained observers would report their thoughts, feelings, and sensations in response to a stimulus, like a sound or a light. It was the first systematic attempt to study the mind scientifically. This approach became known as structuralism because it aimed to identify the basic structures of mental life. But not everyone agreed with Wundt. In America, a brilliant thinker named William James offered a different perspective. James wasn't just interested in the structure of the mind, but in its purpose. This was due to James being heavily influenced by the theory of evolution from Charles Darwin. How do our mental processes help us adapt and survive in the world? Functionalism changed the question from what is the mind to what purpose does the mind serve? James's ideas paved the way for psychology to become a more practical and applied science, looking at real-world problems. As the 20th century dawned, a new, radical figure emerged who would change the face of psychology forever: Sigmund Freud. Freud, a physician from Vienna, proposed that our behavior is driven by powerful unconscious forces, hidden desires, and unresolved childhood conflicts. The id, ego, and superego were concepts introduced by his theory of psychoanalysis, and the idea that simply talking about our problems, the talkie cure, could be healing. While many of Freud's ideas are controversial and have been modified over the years, his influence is undeniable. He made us realize that there's a world of mental activity happening beneath the surface of our awareness. But while Freud was diving deep into the unconscious, another revolution was brewing, one that took psychology in the complete opposite direction. This was behaviorism, championed by figures like John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner. The behaviorists argued that if psychology wanted to be a true science, it should only study what can be directly observed and measured: behavior. They dismissed the mind as an unknowable black box. For them, all behavior was a result of learning through rewards and punishments, a process called conditioning. Think of Pavlov's dogs salivating at the sound of a bell. Behaviorism dominated psychology for decades, emphasizing environmental influences and the power of reinforcement. By the mid-20th century, however, some psychologists felt that both psychoanalysis and behaviorism were too limited. Psychoanalysis focused too much on the negative and pathological, while behaviorism ignored our inner mental life entirely. This dissatisfaction gave rise to humanistic psychology, often called the third force. Led by pioneers like Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers, humanism celebrated human potential, free will, and the pursuit of self-actualization. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a pyramid showing our progression from basic survival needs to higher goals, is a perfect example of this optimistic view of human nature. Humanistic psychology emphasized empathy, personal growth, and the importance of a supportive environment. Just as humanism was gaining traction, another major shift was underway. sparked by the invention of the computer. The cognitive revolution brought the mind back into the spotlight. Psychologists began to see the brain as a kind of biological computer, processing information, storing memories, and making decisions. Cognitive psychology explores these internal mental processes: how we perceive the world, how we think, how we use language, and how we solve problems. It gave us powerful new models for understanding everything from memory lapses to cognitive biases, the mental shortcuts that can sometimes lead us astray. Today, psychology is more diverse and integrated than ever. The nature versus nurture debate has evolved into an understanding that our biology and our environment are in a constant, dynamic dance. The field of neuroscience allows us to literally see the brain in action with technologies such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, connecting our thoughts and feelings to specific patterns of neural activity. Evolutionary psychology explores how our ancient past shapes our modern behaviors. Social psychology examines how we are influenced by others, and developmental psychology tracks our journey from the cradle to the grave. So, what does this mean for you? It means that psychology offers a toolkit for understanding yourself and others. It can help explain why you get nervous before a big presentation. That's your fight-or-flight response. A gift from our evolutionary ancestors. It can help you learn more effectively by using principles of cognitive psychology, like spaced repetition. It can improve your relationships by helping you understand communication patterns and social dynamics. It's not about finding simple answers, but about asking better questions and appreciating the incredible complexity of what it means to be human. The journey to understand the mind is far from over. New discoveries are being made every day, challenging old assumptions and opening up new frontiers, from the mysteries of consciousness to the potential of artificial intelligence. The questions that psychology seeks to answer are some of the most profound and exciting in all of science. We've traveled from ancient Greece to modern brain labs, from Freud's couch to Skinner's box. We've seen how psychology has evolved from a philosophical inquiry into a rigorous science with many different perspectives. Each perspective, structuralist, functionalist, psychoanalytic, behaviorist, humanistic, and cognitive, offers a valuable piece of the puzzle. None of them holds the whole truth, but together they give us a richer, more complete picture of the human mind. So the next time you find yourself wondering why you do the things you do, remember that you're asking a psychological question. You're participating in that same timeless quest for self-understanding. Thank you for joining us on this brief tour of psychology. If you found this fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the science of the mind. See you next time.